The UK is home to over 19,000 miles of coastline, with over 1,200 different species all calling it their home. Right on our doorsteps we have exciting sea life, from dolphins and grey seals to gannets and sharks. Our seas are some of the hardest working in Europe and support many industries. With a lack of proper protection and poor management, our seas have been subject to significant environmental damage. Species here in the UK have been impacted by this, and many are now classed as vulnerable or at risk. One of the biggest challenges marine wildlife here in the UK face is plastic pollution, especially that which is discarded or lost out at sea by fishermen. Once a net is left at sea, it then becomes what we know as a ghost net. The effects of ghost nets are clear throughout all marine life, however it's particularly noticeable throughout seabirds, such as the northern gannet, who are attracted to the bright colours as they float on the surface. This can later cause issues regarding entanglement and accidental consumption. As our population continues to grow, so do our needs and wants, and this is no exception for the fishing industry. With demand for fish at an all-time high, the amount of boats in our waters has increased drastically. With over 1,000 kilometres worth of fishing nets being cast into our seas each year, it is clear to see how the impact of ghost nets is reaching an alarming proportion. Once a fishing net becomes a ghost net, it continues to drift in the current, catching precious marine life and destroying vital habitats. Despite the recognition of the importance of addressing lost ghost gear and the willingness of many within the fishing industry, several challenges hinder the progress, and one significant barrier is the lack of regulations and enforcement that is needed for sustainable fishing practices and proper gear disposal. With a lack of technology in certain regions, it makes it hard to standardise fishing practices across all fisheries. This leaves the role of making a change to small charities such as Surfers Against Sewage and Falmouth Free. But enforcement is only part of the solution. Collaboration between the government and conservation organisations is essential to tackle this global issue. As the fishing industry continues to grapple with its role in the proliferation of ghost nets, it is left to small charities such as Plastic Free Falmouth, which is an organisation run by Surfers Against Sewage, to make a change.
Hi, my name's Emma. I'm a volunteer for Plastic Free Falmouth, which is a scheme run by Surfers Against Sewage. With Plastic Free Falmouth, we do beach cleans on the last Sunday of every month, but we do sometimes do more than that, especially if there's been a big storm or there's been a big event that's caused a lot of plastic pollution or litter. So a couple of weeks ago there was a big storm that washed lots of beach huts at Castle Beach. So we went out there as part of a wider team of people that helped to clean the area up. I think the biggest threat with regards to plastic pollution is is ghost gear. Ghost gear is a particular problem. On the south coast we don't often find big netting, but it's more the microfilament, the really fine netting that's really clear, and that's particularly dangerous for marine wildlife because they can't see that, they can get entangled in it really easily. And we find quite a lot of that is actually from personal use, so if it's people that have gone out and done fishing around the south coast and unfortunately maybe have lost that line due to multiple reasons. Particularly on the north coast of Cornwall, microplastics is a particular problem, and microplastics are really just formed because plastic never truly breaks down in our environment. All it does is break down into smaller and smaller pieces through UV damage and the waves and the sea. So any plastic that gets thrown into the sea is likely to stay there and just break down into smaller and smaller pieces, unfortunately. I think it's so important to sort of engage the younger generation with ocean conservation and actually the impact that they can have. There was research recently that said beach cleans actually clean 90% of marine litter off of beaches, and they're very efficient at keeping our beaches clean. So although we've got to look at teaching children about not using single-use plastics, it's also important to get them on a beach and create that connection with nature and the ocean, get them outdoors, get them doing something that makes them feel good. So yeah, it's really important to get kids involved.
As plastic pollution and ghost nets still wreak havoc across our coastlines here in the UK, charities such as Plastic Free Falmouth and many recreational divers and diving charities such as Fathoms Free are combating the issue on the front line. With many species like the endangered crawfish returning to our waters here in the UK, hope for a cleaner, more positive ocean is just around the corner. Our oceans need your help.